You're going to fix the cameras on where we're going live, right?
While you're talking. Just
all right then.
start talking.
Welcome, viewers. Welcome to Fumbles and Fame. So, as you can see, we fumble our way to fame. I am your humble and merciful dungeon master, Tahina, and I have the pleasure to lead those lovely women through for our last day of Women in Gaming Month to my homebrew setting, Steranesti. What is Fumbles and Fame, you ask? We are an international online D&D community, and we are not affiliated with, endorsed, sponsored, or specifically approved by Wizards of the Coast LLC. And now that that is out of the way, let me take you to an island that has been created by a fallen star that destroyed a continent. On the northwestern part of the island, lying at the bottom of the sea, is still that star glowing. And every time it pulses, wild magic waves go over the island and magic wreaks havoc. On the eastern side, there is Ostend. In English, you would just say Easton, because it's the city in the east. It is the biggest city in all of Steranesti. It is separated into several wards. One of them is dedicated to learning and knowledge. There is the greatest wizard academy. There is a bardic college. All the archives and libraries and books and scrolls that your heart could ever desire if you want knowledge. Then we have the entertainment ward with this huge sprawling casino with a mechanical dragon lying on top of it, building the VIP entrance to its walls. And we have the Citadel of Light right in the center of that city, this huge church with basically a ball of radiant energy right on top of it, illuminating all of the city center. And part of the city factions is an agency called the Sisters. Sisters standing for security, investigation, surveillance, transport, extermination, requisition, and service. And my players all are agents of this organization. So please, I'm going in the camera order that I see on Discord, so please don't be surprised. I'm starting with Charlie. Please introduce yourself and what are you going to play tonight?
Hi, so I'm at Frostfire on Twitter, and tonight, Tahina, I will be playing Sienna, who is also known as Sunny, a tiefling, a rogue who enjoys the recovering of treasure. I think is how that is best phrased. And she has a familiar who is a hand, and his name is Booper. Nobody be alarmed, but do keep a good grasp on your valuable possessions.
We have a hands-off policy. Marcy, please introduce yourself.
Sure thing. My name is Marcy, and today I will be playing Edlin Nix, who is a water ganassi, who is also an abjurationist wizard. She's an archivist who works underwater, reclaiming a lot of artifacts that were thought lost to the cataclysm, and sometimes they're not.
Liz.
I'm Liz. I'm at the Hexelsi on Twitter, and I'm playing Maria Graysten, a tiefling blood hunter. She kind of investigates and deals with problems. A lot of problems.
Fantastic. And last, but certainly not least, our lovely Leonie.
I'm Leonie. I'm playing for Vin. I'm really sorry. Let me just fix this last camera. So I play for Vin. I'm a tiefling. I'm a paladin.
You go check the camera.
Yeah, check out the old episode. You'll find all about it.
Well, last time we played the last one shot. Leonie, who plays the Sister of Truth, was there as well, and she's going to also spearhead today's operation. Last time, the Horde, this big casino with its beholder security chief, was broken into. And instead of cutting off all the gold that lies in their vault, two things have been taken: a harpsichord, a magical harpsichord, and a painting. the sisters successfully followed the culprits, and they had been loading all that stuff on a ship, and valiantly they jumped onto that ship as it was just leaving port, and they killed 2 of the culprits, and they reclaimed the harpsichord, but the painting is still missing, and 2 of the bad guys, basically, are still loose. One of them is a UNT assassin who left the Sister of Truth with, I think, nightmares, because she stabbed her in the back and gave her a kiss on the cheek and told her that the darkness that eats all things sends her regards and wanted to take her. But Fevin survived, and she has a vendetta now against that assassin. And there's also a wizard or mage loose, and she's most likely the brains of the operation. So the last time the sisters were going after that harpsichord, it was the first day of the autumn festival. And it's still the autumn festival in the city, so all those city streets are pretty crowded with all those traders and visitors coming to enjoy the splendor of Ostend. Because Ostend is like, if you take the great Renaissance Italian cities and mash them together with nowadays Las Vegas and put a good dose of magic into the mix, you have this well-paved streets and this highly functional canalization, and almost all the windows have glass except for the very poor parts of the city. And you have a lot of drunk students at the moment who have been imbibing way too much because of the autumn festival. And you have all those high-strung bards who competed in the Battle of the Bards. The harpsichord was the first prize for that competition. And the battle went, and the survivors claimed their prizes. And Adarma Silvertongue was the one who won the harpsichord. And this is the day after the Battle of the Bards. And all the sisters who are present today have gotten a runner came to them with information that a contract has been prolonged, and several other contracts have been coming in about security issues concerning the Citadel of Light. And also, 2 of the culprits are still loose, and you have the first contract stated that you are supposed to retrieve the stolen goods and punish the ones that basically broke into the hoard. You got only 1 part of the items and 2 of the ones who did it. So at the morning of the second day after the theft, you're all called to headquarters for a conference to talk about the next steps of the mission. Are you ready, Leonie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went
So...
and got myself a proper cigarette, because screw it.
All right then. So please do your intro where you describe your character and set the scene for me.
Excellent. So, in headquarters, I imagine we're in headquarters. Well, for Venus at least, because she had to hand over all the information that she had. There's a quiet prayer room, almost a chapel, which actually Favine requested. And in this quiet chapel, a lone figure kneels before a majestic statue of Torm. This figure is a woman, dressed in silver chain and splint, with a white and red cloak. This woman is pale as polished marble, with hair to match. But all is not what it seems, for aside her head grows 2 large, sweeping... What's happening?
The stream can almost not hear you. You're very, very quiet. Pump it up!
2 large white horns. She's at the statue. She's a hand tenderly rests against the feet of Torm, clutching a piece of paper, while a mask with glowing blue eyes is clutched to her heart, and her lips move silently in prayer, earnestly in prayer. "Please," she whispers, "please do something to make this end." She begs. When her summons come, so the runner, to say that the other sisters are coming and are soon to arrive, Vivine falls back onto her haunches, her hands fall into her lap, almost defeated. And she looks at the face of Torm and she says, "When I asked for an intervention, I didn't mean more work." And then she places her mask upon her face, clipping it to her horns, and a small smile creeps upon her lips. "Actually, you would suggest more work." She dusts herself off and picks up her glaive before turning to leave the chapel and, of course, meet her sisters.
Perfect. So you arrive at headquarters where Nanshi, the faceless one, the leader of the sisters, the woman who had created this agency about 7 decades before. They call her the faceless one, not because she doesn't have a face, but because every time you meet with her, you're like, "Oh yeah, sure, that's what she's look like." And then you leave her presence, and you're like, "Was she redhead? Did she have brown hair? How old was she?" You can't remember. So she is called the faceless one because no one can remember her, what her face looks like as soon as you leave her presence. And you arrive at a conference room. It is this very cozy place of medium size with a round table. There are several folders already sitting at the different places. And you are the first to arrive. So as you take your seat, Sister of Truth, you have a very good view of the door. And in comes, Charlie, Sienna. What does Favine see when you cross the threshold of the door?
So as Sienna enters, she's carrying what appears to be a large box with a great big iron padlock on the front. And the box is shaking as if something inside of it is moving violently. And her head is down as she's kind of talking to this box. Her horns are kind of more visible, sticking out of purple hair. And Feline wouldn't have expected to see Sienna today. Feline was expecting a different sister of light. But unfortunately, Selena hadn't been available, and so Sienna, in a last-minute contact, had been called in to come and help with what is happening. Unfortunately, Booper at the Battle of the Bards yesterday got arrested, and so currently she is trying to talk him out of his rage so that she could open the box in which he was jailed. And as I described that, she finally tweaks the thieves' tool, and the iron lock springs open, and out of the box appears a hand, which instantly jumps onto Sienna's shoulder and flicks her in the face. She takes him down and sets him on the table, taking her seat, trying to appear irreverent and like she means business and wasn't just trying to wrestle her hand from a box.
And right after Sienna comes Maria, another tiefling.
So Maria has pale, kind of pastel green skin. She has pale pink hair. She's wearing a pointed hat with a feather coming off of it. And almost knocked my drink over. And she's got mostly purples and dark, rich, pinky reds of her cloak and her dress, and the cloak over her shoulder. At her sides, she has a sword in a sheath either side of her waist. and her tail is long and has a wispy tuft at the end. And she seems she can come off as a little bit cold as she enters the room, kind of a bit like, I was in the middle of something else and I've been pulled onto this job. Like, she's used to being called in to investigate other problems or get involved, but she's still just kind of like, I was in the middle of something, how dare you? My time is important. But she comes in, she takes a seat, and waits for things to begin.
Fantastic. So, as you can see, of that round table is not the biggest table there is, so there are only 2 more seats to be filled. And after a while, another sister approaches. What can they hear and see when Evelyn comes?
So Edlin is storming in. She's just had a very long day in the archives. Some bards who just discovered that they could buy potions of water breathing decided to sneak their way into the archives, and she's been dealing with that mess all day. Like, be quiet in the library. It's easy. It's easy, but not for bards. So she's been dealing with that mess, and she comes in soaking wet. She is a pale blue water genocide with different strands of varying pastel green curly hair. It's in that like midway stage. I don't know if your hair does this when it's wet, but like my hair is still super wavy when it's wet, so it's just kind of like everywhere. And she totes with her a large stack of books that seem like it should be too heavy for her to carry. But she puts them down on the table, and they are also soaking wet. And she takes her seat and begins preparing her spells.
Wonderful. And right on your heel, basically, there's a gnome woman coming in. She doesn't even reach 3 feet, and she's older. She has the spun with lots of pens and feathers sticking in, crow's feet, and she is well-rounded, and she has this cup of coffee that is obviously supposed to be a cup for a Goliath or something. It's huge! And it's steaming, and it's floating on a mage hand right beside her, as she's also going through papers and coming right after you and sitting down. This is I'll call her just Auntie or Celeste. She's the head researcher of the research branch of the Sisters Agency. So
my otter familiar is definitely really curious about that coffee and trying to drink it.
So you can see her hand like and the otter going behind that. And then as she sits down, she just gives your otter this slight poke on the nose. So, no. This is mine. And she downs most of the cup in one, going like, the ambrosia of the gods. If you ever wondered if the gods really love us, this is proof, she says, and puts the cup on the table beside her notes. Good morning, sisters.
Good morning.
Are you all ready to take on your new mission?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Very good then. Vivian, please, if you would be so kind as to tell the others what happened the day before last.
I'll make this quick. We were called to the Horde, as everyone knows, the large casino in the upper parts of the city, to investigate an item stolen from the Vault Casino. This item that went missing was the grand prize in the Battle of the Bards, Canella's harpsichord. It is a magical item that apparently can make people fall asleep. I won't bore you with the intrinsic details of how it was found in the end, but it became apparent very quickly that the Darkfire cult was involved with this robbery. Their stench hung in the air, you know, the rotting flesh and sulphur, etc. We also found that was not all they stole. They also stole a painting of the Citadel of Light. This painting showed the building in its early stages. We found the perpetrators eventually, leaving or attempting to leave on a boat. We killed two, and two escaped, the sorceress and a Yuan-Ti assassin that I very much would like to find. But ultimately our job was done. We retrieved the harpsichord and it was given away as a grand prize.
Yes, indeed, says Celeste, and goes through her. You hear the paper rustling as she's opening all her stuff. It went to someone trustworthy, and we have a contract in place to make sure that they are going to guard it and not let it get away, because it is very important. Also, I have interesting information for you. We did go through our archive, and we did find out that the UNT who attacked you is called Skage.
Skaga?
Yeah. And she is a well-known assassin from Manose. It's from the continent. She seems to have had dealings with the Darkfire cult for quite some time, although she herself is not really... she's affiliated with them, but not part of it. But it's different with their... I think she's their leader. I'm not sure. The woman you told us about, the one using magic and holding you in place, she's called Idara, and she has been trained here in Ostend, so she will know the city and the lay of the land. She is an abjuration wizard. She nods at Marcy, and she was very talented, but she also dabbled in other areas, and that is one of the reasons why she got kicked out of her research facility. We have several notes about her working on ancient history, and I think that she stumbled upon the Darkfire cult by accident, and we are not sure if she's also a host or not, but we would advise, if you engage her in combat, to kill her from a distance, because you remember what happened on the ship, right? When you killed the host.
Vivian nods, and she was like, yes, the paladin exploded.
Indeed.
Oh.
And there is a form of corrupted fire that will emanate from the body, and this is not the worst thing. The worst thing is that if you are open to something like that, there is a possibility that you will be the next host. So you should keep your distance from those cultists. No close combat, right? And she points at Vivian. Also, we found several sketches that the artist did, and we found out that this painting was one of many that she did during the time of the building. And the important thing is, you of course know all of this, Evelyn. She nods to the water genasi and says, during the building of Ostend, as most of you might know, the city has been standing here well before the cataclysm. So there has been there are basically layers upon layers upon layers of city, and the underground is a very vast and sprawling beast underneath the city. And the painting that has been stolen basically shows some of the earlier stages of construction. So it shows how the city looked like about 200 years ago. And at that point of time, most of the central city was still the small hammock, the small hill. Most of it has been filled up with earth, and also canalization has been built, and part of the old catacombs have been also covered up. And as those thieves have been after Camilla's harpsichord, we think that they are after more of her stuff. And there are several workplaces that the Archmage used in the past. And we know for a fact that one of them was in an underground cave, somewhere close to the center of the city. So if you wanted to basically get closer to where that workshop basically lies, one of those old paintings would be very helpful to eliminate other possibilities. And then she pulls out this huge map, and it looks like a totally crazy map of underground. If you go to London and see all those colorful ways, right, to see where you can go, which lines to take. This is the same thing, but it's all in black and white and on this very old parchment. And you can see that there are several layers to this. And she says, this is the map of the catacombs. And we have marked several likely places and also entrances to that underground system. And I added by hand where the new canalization and other underground structures are. And we have several teams going out. But I want you to look at these 3 locations. And she points at a sector in the north of the map. You will have to go to the to the center area behind the Citadel of Light into the back alleys there, and there should be the small workshop. The owner has been informed that some of you will pass through, and then you can go basically into the belly of the city. You should be careful because I hear rumors that due to the autumn festival, the canalization has been had to work harder there normally, and all of you know that there are portals down there, and I hear that lots of the wild magic has congealed into oozes and puddings and all kinds of things. So maybe just try to avoid those. And try to find those locations. I hear, or our network says that Skage has been seen in the city, the assassin, and they seem to be looking or searching for entranceways in there. I'm not sure if it's because of the radiant energy that emanates from the top spire. As you all know, undead can't cross into its light. I'm not sure if it will affect those that are possessed, but they seem to stay away from the citadel itself. And there is a high chance that you might encounter them down there. But as I said, keep your distance. If you engage, please do it with some form of ranged attack so you don't get into the detonation if things go south.
Excellent.
And also, I have this. And then she grabs this small crate and puts it on the table. This is an antidote that Viridi, the druid, who was one of the sisters who went with you last time. She is our top-notch poison maker and also knows her way about antidotes. And this should help. It won't be a perfect antidote for Briala's tears, but it will lessen the effect. So you should keep it on you at all times in case you do get into close combat with the assassin. Do you have any questions, sisters? No, that's fantastic. Here is your map. Here are your antidotes.
Sorry, I was muted. Leaning forwards and looking at the map, Sienna having a history of basically treasure hunting and the similar, wants to look really closely at the area that's been highlighted and see if she can spot ahead of time anything that might be a problem, any route that might be easier, using any knowledge she would have of the city as well, if possible.
Roll me an investigation check.
I just went to look for roll 20 and I realized we're not using roll 20.
You can use real die.
That was only a 9.
Okay.
That was not very good. That's with my modifier.
Oh dear.
I rolled a 4.
Oh yeah, okay. So, this looks fine. This should be easy.
Seems reasonable. Good maps, solid. Everything's on there that I expect to be there.
Yeah, there are so
Good.
many notes there in this spidery handwriting of the head researcher, and there are many like arrows pointing certain things out, and you're like, yeah, this will be a piece of cake. We have that workshop in no time.
Great. I'm gonna grab my bag of stuff from the floor. Get ready to go.
Fantastic. So, there she is.
Sorry, my camera crashed.
Any other questions?
How much did was revealed about this Darkfire cult? As far as like aims or motivations?
Well, as far as we know, do you remember what the Darkfire cult is? At all?
No,
No.
not me as a person. No,
Yeah.
but I'm sure my
It does.
character.
It does not really cross over into your field of study. It does not have much to do with water. She says, or the Mermerslin. So basically, when the first races were and this world was created, there was an eruption of corrupted fire, an opening of the abyss into the primal fire that builds the core of our world. And beings escaped that dark fire. And they had no form for themselves. And so they used hosts to influence the world around them. And they are a very destructive race. Their goal basically is to transform all that you see around you into this one glowing ball of fire, the way it was the first moment they stepped into our plane of existence, basically. And the other races, after they caught wind of what was going on around them, started fighting them. And because they could not destroy them due to their non-corporeal nature, they decided to imprison them into a prison made out of living stone. Now that we have a new contract and new alliances, we have heard that the dragons, when they were still roaming freely through the world, were one of the first to step in to fight against them. And one of their wormlings got stolen and corrupted by the demons. And because they could not bear the thought of killing that child, they put it to sleep by means of a magic harp made out of dragon bone and sinew. And that child's corpse, that has been basically mutated and enlarged by the corrupt magic of those demons, is curled around their prison. And if you would wake up the wormling today, you would most certainly break the prison. So we have learned that Canella's harpsichord, the instrument that has been stolen, contains part of the destroyed harp that has been used to put the child to sleep. And if you would use the harpsichord at the right point in time and at the right place, there is a certain chance that you could wake up the wormling and basically destroying the world by waking it up and breaking open that prison. We have also learned that the Cataclysm, who created Steranesti, has weakened the prison, so several of those demons could escape through a small crack. And it seems that they are trying to free their brethren and go on with their plan of creating a world in a way and fashion that they would like best, she says, and downs the last bit of her coffee.
Oh no.
Long story short, they're filth.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. And dangerous, and we don't know any way to contain them. So basically, if you could take them prisoner, I think that would be the best if you don't kill them, because we don't know. We don't want any of you. You are highly trained and capable, and all of you excel in magic and and combat and your fields of expertise. So we don't want to give them more powerful hosts.
The assassin isn't coming back alive, I can promise you that. I'll try and make arrangements for the sorcerer.
Very good. So you all have a few hours. We have talked to the Church of Belarus has been informed, and Bishop Hastur assured us that his paladins and inquisitors will stand guard, and no one will be able to step into the premise of the Citadel of Light. But of course, their numbers are not enough to keep all of the underground safe. So you should have no interference from the good knights of the Order of Light. You have all a bit time to prepare yourselves, but I would ask you to see to it to go down there and find that workshop as soon as possible.
Someone's going for walkies.
My otter is very upset right now.
It's a very loud otter.
The loudest familiar ever. So,
The forces of nature command us to go forth.
yeah. So, to save some time, let's say we're doing this time lapse. You all have, 2 hours or so to prepare something. And all of you get a proverbial token from me. And if we encounter a situation where I think I would have prepared for that, you just redeem that token and say, I have this magical rope or whatever to remedy the situation. So
I feel like I want a 10-foot pole.
it's a classic.
I hear they're very good with slimes and oozes, so...
You're very welcome to bring a pole with you.
Excellent. Alright, I've got the pole. Everyone else think of something else.
Can it be a pole that just like magically extends to 10 feet so when somebody who's hosted is about to die, we just whoop them away?
I kid you not, there is one in Sanatar's Guide to Everything.
Maybe on the other end could be like a crook. So like, should we need to hook something that's a long way away?
So I know what you're going to redeem that token for. So you leave headquarters, which is close to, it's basically between the magic district and the magic quarter and the entertainment ward. And you move towards the very packed and crowded streets of Ostend. All the streets have these little booths and stalls with this colorful cloth draped over them, and there is this air of, no one knows that there is a cult afoot and assassins loose in the city. So there is this feeling of celebration in the air. People are day drunk in the streets, some of them. There are people eating and you hear singing. There are all kinds of people. You see tabaxi and halflings and gnomes and goliaths and other genasi and tieflings and arzimas. Everything you can imagine is in the street, and they're all wearing their best and most colorful clothes, flowers in their hair, or just very brightly colored ribbons. And you have to squeeze through the crowd because the closer you get to the Citadel of Light, the more packed the streets are, because the big market, it's the last day of the market, is right on the plaza in front of the Citadel of Light. So you basically move to the outskirts of the city and then to the back alleys, where all is a bit more dim, especially once you step into the more narrower passages where that brightly globe lighting the plaza only throws very harsh shadows into those narrow alleyways. But there are still stores there, not as brightly colored, and they have more like cheap pierogi and stuff like that to eat, and sandwiches. And you come to the stickers shop, and with this bright green colored, very narrow door. And this is the entranceway. And as you open it up, you see shelves upon shelves with half-made mechanical birds and all kinds of do this and do that. And as you come in, there is the owner, a half-elf, elderly guy with this bushy sideburns, and he has goggles on that enlarge his eyes to owl-like proportions, and he's looking at you and blink, and then he sees your purple dresses and robes, and you are easily identified as the sisters, and he just good morning, sisters. And then he cleans his hands and follow me. I'll show you the entrance that your mistress required. And so you go bumping mechanical pieces almost from shelves, and he shows you all this very rickety stairway made out of wood that goes into a part of the basement that looks very... This is definitely not an official basement. It looks like someone just dug it out of the earth and just enforced it. And there is a breakthrough in the height wall. And Sienna has seen stuff like this before. This is an entryway for smugglers who want to bring stuff into the city and don't want to be seen. So this is definitely something for illicit business. And you descend down this narrow stairway into the underground. After a while, the stairway ends, and there's another breakthrough, and then you come into what looks like official parts of the sewer system of the city. There is this orderly wall. You can see water running, but there is still the buzz of magic tingling your senses as all kinds of spells that keep this thing going is working. What will you do?
Well, first Vivine will look very, very insulted, and she will lift up her white and red cape as she steps around in puddles that she is quite sure is not water. And you can only really see the bottom of her nose and her mouth, but her mouth is downturned in displeasure, and her nose wrinkles as the smell hits her. Who has the map? She asks her sisters.
Tiana reaches into her pack and pulls out the map that she'd taken and hands it to Favine. Cooper kind of jumps out of her bag to try and snatch the map back. He'd gotten quite used to it being in the bag with him, but he fails to make the grab.
Favine snaps it back and she looks and she's like, "What is that?"
Oh, don't mind him. He just gets attached to things. Usually ones that aren't his.
I've seen many strange things, but walking hands that move on their own is not one of them, unless attached to a mage, and you don't look like a mage to me.
And she's slowly winding up this leather leash that's attached to a kind of harness that Boop is wearing, and kind of attaches it onto her belt so that he can't go too far. I promise he'll behave himself. No, I'm not a mage. I have a few tricks, but don't we all?
Vivine plays with the map for a bit. She folds it and then just holds it out for someone to take. And she goes, "I've never been one to read maps."
You're muted.
I am muted. I'll take that from you.
I would like to take this moment to redeem 2 cheers. One for Frost from Fire, our own Charlie, and also for Wandering Silence. Dave, cheers!
Cheers! I drank all my drink.
It's already gone.
A little bit left.
And it will very much please you to hear that I got a DM advantage. Thank you, Kilojord.
No!
I have an assassin in my backhand.
I want it known
And some
now
other
that
things.
every step I take, I am looking out for this assassin. So I'm just going to constantly roll perception checks.
I think I saw someone mention that they'd redeemed for some sort of monster, but I'm really hoping that was made up and they didn't.
No, they did.
Ah.
Who was it? So I know
That
to
was
punish them
also
later.
Dave.
Oh, the tone in that voice.
Honoring silence. And the killer droid gave me the dungeon master. Thank you very much. I will put it to good use, I promise.
It was a 16 for my first perception check.
Mhm.
I take another step. It was a 14.
Amazing. So, you're all standing in the sewer system. There is the stream in the middle, and you are basically on this raised part on the side of a walkway, basically, of the sewer. So you don't really stand in the sewer water. But of course, there are some puddles from when the sewer has a higher level of fluids. That's the word. And you all look at the map. So which way do you go? Who is going to read the map and try to find the nearest location of one of those maybe possible workplaces of this very famous and infamous archmage?
I will attempt that check.
And Sienna, being a tomb raiding rogue, are you going to help?
Yes.
Then I give you advantage on that check.
Hooray. Okay. Only got one die here, so hold on. I got a 19 for the first roll and a 6 for the second, and I wasn't sure what I was adding, if anything.
You are proficient in investigation, so you should add a 7, I think. So 26.
Okay. Yep.
Nice.
I'm the all-knowing dungeon master, I know. What you need to add.
I have a feeling what happened was Evelyn had the map and rolled it out, and Sunny was kind of peering over her shoulder and pointing to things, and they were kind of toing and froing. And then Evelyn was like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have font of all knowledge.
Oh, yeah. It's like, last time I went into that tomb, the object
Yeah,
was...
I'm pointing at all of these things, and you're just like, trap, 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 double trap.
Death. More death.
Yeah. So, you pick up your stuff and roll them up in, and like, yeah, absolutely, we have to go this way. So you move through the sewer in a sure pace, and I'm going, unless you tell me something else, I'm going to use your passive perception for
No, I'm rolling.
and other things. You're rolling?
I am rolling.
Yeah, I'd say that Maria is also keeping an eye out for, like, after they've been warned that there's 2 assailants, Maria is keeping an eye out for anyone that could be in the shadows.
Okay. What is your active perception?
21.
21, okay.
Oh, that was not good. Where is perception? That's a 10.
Woohoo! I mean, that's even worse than your passive.
He's distracted. I am not being caught.
And Sienna, are you also rolling for perception, or are you just following the others? You're muted.
There we go.
There you go.
That was so weird. I clicked to unmute and it didn't, and I clicked again and I was still muted. But okay. So yeah, I think once we've decided the way, she would definitely be kind of. She might even like try and hop across the stream to walk on the parallel, so that we've got
Nice.
any more room to maneuver, and she gets a different angle.
Very good.
That wasn't very good. However, that roll was not good. That's 6, because I have a -1 to perception.
It's 6.
I'm getting rid of that dice. I don't want to roll that one
All
anymore.
right then.
New
So-
dice.
Yeah, new dice time.
You follow that sewer for a while, and nothing springs out at you. No assassins creeping up. No one trying to stab you in the back. Not yet, at least. And you notice that normally if you follow a sewer, they most often are pretty straight, right? Because they are going somewhere like to, I don't know, clearing area. This
River
one's
or-
like doing a circle. And it's going to meet up with, or you can tell that it's a circle. You're not going to traverse the whole thing. And at a certain point, you go beneath a certain passage, and you know that one of those portals where all that sewer water is being magically transferred into. God knows, I don't even think the gods know where that stuff is going. It looks good. But you can see that the magic is hanging really thick in the air, and the walls are covered with slime, and some of it seems to quiver. Especially Ferine, who has been, with this look of disdain, stepped over puddles, looks down at one of those puddles, so that's not water, and that's also not whatever flows in there. Everyone roll for initiative. As you have the easy encounter that has been redeemed.
13.
Oh, very good.
20.
Nat 20?
No, not a natural.
Oh.
14.
We're good at rolling initiative, you all. We did it.
What did you
Bye-bye.
get? What's your initiative?
Which one?
4. Yeah, okay.
A 14
You know what's
for me.
funny? I have the initiative tracker from last time, and Favine had a 13 last time, and this time again. You are staying true to form. Consistency, yeah.
I will keep hold of those dice then, because I lived.
Very good. So, Maria goes first as she sees this quivering mass of what looks like this dirty, slightly translucent padding coming down from the wall.
Oh dear. Okay, so the first thing I do is I activate my Rite of the Frozen. So
Mhm.
one of my swords becomes encased in ice along the blade,
Mhm.
which unfortunately means that I take 6 damage right off the bat.
Ooh, okay.
And yeah, being a blood hunter is just so fun. And so I take. Is it within 5 feet of me? Is it within striking distance of me?
You can just walk up 10 feet and then you would be in 5 feet of it. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I walk up close enough to be within striking distance and make my first attack with my sword.
Mhm.
So that's. Oh, it fell out of the box. Oh god damn it, that's a 9!
Oh dear. But you are in luck because wobbling puddings are obviously not hard to hit. So you do hit it.
Okie dokie, so that is.
It's a pretty big
6.
quivering mass.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So it takes 4 piercing damage and 2 ice damage.
Okay. Alrighty then.
And I actually have a
It
second
quivers
attack.
angrily.
So I take my second attack with my other short sword, which
Okay.
isn't magic. That is a 22.
Yeah, you hit.
And that is the 5 damage.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then I stay where I am.
Yeah, your weapons count as magical, right?
The one with the ice on it does, and the other sword is just a normal sword.
Mm-hmm. You see that for one thing, the cold does not seem to do as much damage as you would hope. And the non-magical weapon looks like when you hit it, the substance coats your blade, and you hear this faint sound as smoke rises from your blade, and this acrid smell fills the air.
I think this thing is made of acid.
Oh yeah.
Or something corrosive. I'm just kind of looking at my sword like, you bitch.
Off to a good start. Next up is Sienna.
So this is across from me, right on the other side with the other half of the party.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Although you do notice that behind you there is something wobbling at the wall.
I think
More than one creature.
seeing what happened with Eadling and then hearing the thick ooze just coming down behind me, I want to turn really quickly.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna use Firebolt.
Ooh. Nice.
So I need to roll to hit.
Mhm.
Does a 13 hit?
It does.
Huzzah! 2d10. Yes. Oh, missed the book. Ooh, that is 12 fire damage.
You look at that thing, and it starts to ooze from the basically this narrow gaps between the stones. It's basically like being pushed to a thief, the way it comes out of there. And you hit it with your fire, and you feel that there was a lot of womp basically in that firebolt, but that did not do as much damage as you would have hoped.
With my bonus action, I'm going to use a cunning action to basically disengage, and I'm just going to back up away from it, which I guess is going in the wrong direction backwards.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where I'm going, but that's what she's going to try and do. She's going to back up, keeping her eye on that one, kind of the other eye peripheral on the girls on the other side.
So how do you retreat your full movement of 30 feet, or how far do you?
She'd probably retreat like 15 feet. I think 30 feet is a long way to run away.
Oh yeah.
Especially into where you don't know where you're going. So she'll just go like 15 feet. That's a good, there's a nice range.
All right. So next up is Devine.
Okay. Vivina twirls her glaive, her double-ended glaive, and it rumbles like a far-off storm before she hits the hissing ooze ahead of her. And I imagine it's 15 feet away, so she moves 5 feet, so it's 10 foot away, so she can still hit it but be far away enough. So yes, I've primed my weapon with Thunderous Smite.
Very good.
Roll to hit. 17 plus 7.
That hits.
Excellent. So, Thunderous Smite. It takes 3 thunder damage. And as it strikes, a big clack of thunder just echoes down the hall. And I need the ooze to make a strength saving throw.
Oh, yeah. That is a 17.
Okay, it succeeds. So I guess it doesn't get knocked back or gets knocked prone because it's ooze. It doesn't get knocked prone.
Yeah.
But my normal damage is also 10 slashing on top of that. And then, yes, I know.
Claim your fame.
Really? Nice. Excellent. So she comes down with one strike. The thunder damage echoes down the hall. And as she goes to do an upswing for the second one, she doesn't quite realise that she's just splattered and plastered the rest of the thing with what remains of this ooze.
Amazing.
So she stops halfway.
You have an extra attack, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because you see, as you splatter that one, behind it is another one. Slurping along the way.
Okay.
Also, refresh my memory, is your glaive magical?
It's +1, so yes.
Oh yeah, fantastic. So You see the substance coating it, but there is no hissing sound and no additional acrid smell.
Excellent. Okay, so for my second attack, I'm gonna slash at this. I'm gonna move, so I'm 10 foot away. So I don't know how far away it is. How much movement have I moved now?
You moved 5 foot because you want to be in a 10-foot range, so you still have 25 left.
Excellent. And do I need to move again to be closer to the second one?
Yes.
Okay, so an additional 5?
More like 10.
Okay, so I move 10.
Okay.
And for my second attack, I'm going to take a slash at it. Oh, where'd you go? 16 plus 7.
That hits, yeah.
Excellent. But this time, as my blade comes down, I'm going to use a spell slot for Divine Smite. So as my blade comes down, it glows with radiant energy, and it takes 12 points of radiant damage as well as 12 points of slashing.
Claim your fame.
Once again, Vivien's just plastering. She's decorating the sewer with oozes.
You hear a slight hissing sound as some of the ooze sprays on your coat and your shoes.
Ugh, gross. Oh well. And then to end my turn, I'm going to turn around and face the one that is still behind us.
It's on the other side of the channel.
So I'll move whatever feet that I've got left, and end my turn.
It's that one's turn, and it's basically going after Sienna, so it's making its way up that walkway towards you, and a pseudopod moves out of this gelatinous mass and but it does not reach you because it's very slow as it's quivering along. So, Ellen, it's your turn.
Edlin is going to reach out her hand and whisper a sound that goes between life and death, summoning up a ghostly hand as she casts Chill Touch. And attempts to hit this ooze with it. And that, I believe, is a spell attack roll. It's going to be 24.
Oh yeah, that hits easily.
Okay. Let me just see. I think I get, for Chill Touch, it's 2d8?
Yeah, you're level 6.
Yeah. So it's going to take 6 plus 2, 8 necrotic damage.
The ooze is like quivering as the skeletal hand rakes. It's
when it summons, it makes like one of those sort of ghastly death wails, like.
Yeah. But it is still moving slowly after Sienna.
Give me one more second. I think there's another thing.
But you see, as
it's just thinking it can't regain hit points. That's right. But
as you see the hand rake it, there is bits and pieces dropping off of it, so it looks smaller now. But too mindless to know when to retreat. Maria, it's your turn. Top of the round.
So is this other ooze across from me? Okay, in that case, I'm going to. Well, I'm angry that my sword is now being eaten by acid. So I cast, I do a flourish with my hands and cast Eldritch Blast at the ooze that's going across.
Go for it!
And that is a 23.
To hit?
To hit.
That hits.
Yeah. Right, that's 2 beams. So where's my 2d10s? Not here, apparently. So yeah, 2 beams of force energy go at this ooze, doing a total of, the first one does 1 damage, and the second one does 8.
Claim your fame. Describe how you destroy that creature.
So these 2 beams just go, and it's force damage that pushes it back, but I like to think it like goes inside it and then just explodes it outwards. as these two beams of like force energy just like plant into the middle of this oozy creature and just go.
Yeah. Sienna, you can see piece of ooze flying along you before your nose, barely missing. Barely missing.
I was gonna say, and like hopefully not hitting.
No, she's not hitting her. But he's like.
I'm a rogue. I could death save. No, dex save. We're not death saving. That's a whole other thing.
Oh, so perfect. So
It's hot, okay?
So you stand there, your weapons at the ready, and we're falling out of initiative as nothing else seems to quiver and come for you. And this was the easy encounter that has been redeemed. This was not wolves, but I hope it still works.
Seeing Maria's sword so damaged, I guess kind of still in one of her hands, Sienna's gonna draw her rapier and kind of throw it across so that Maria still has a weapon.
Oh.
I catch it gratefully. I'm like, thank you very much. I sheath my actually no, before I sheath my sword, because it's gonna get acid all in the sheath. Not caring like that this is sewer water, I like wash the blade in the water and then sheath it, because Maria's been in horrible places. She doesn't care that this is a sewer. She'll deal with that mess later. And it just kind of puts her like the rapier that Sienna has tossed her in her belt.
Sounds like anyone who gets poked with that is going to get like sepsis or something.
Yeah. It is now a blade of disease and filth.
To be fair,
It's a poop stick.
To be fair, if she's stabbing someone with it, she doesn't care what happens to them.
Amazing.
These are some Roman tactics here.
They shouldn't get on the bad end of her sword if they don't want to get hurt.
Or like her butt ends, you know.
So, this wasn't really a match for you're all capable agents, and so you move on. You will pass along some stairs downwards, and you see basically you go straight ahead, and then this, as I said, it goes in a circle, so the sewer tunnel is going to the right-hand side, and you see out of the corner of your eye, or you can look at it, there is like a cistern, and there is this portal glowing, hanging in this shield spell, and inside the shield, where the water is basically being poured in that portal. The portal is not standing upright, but it's lying like in a bathtub, basically. So the water is flowing in that. And at the edge of the portal where the shield basically stops, there is a woman with her hand pressed against the shield. She's inside where that portal is, basically mindlessly touching this shield. It seems like she's trying to escape. But with your high perception checks, you also see the quivering mass of like what looks like a family of oozes, basically, right behind her. It looks a bit like this. So there is some kind of creature that has been crawling out of that wild magic portal sewer water mix. And there seem to be rotten corpse parts inside of it, but it is contained by the magic. Yeah?
I'd like to fire off divine senses, please.
Okay. You can feel undead and fiends and something else that I can't remember. Celestials, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fake creatures. This is... Second? You feel nothing. There is no celestial presence. You feel a slight ping on your radar from Sienna and Maria. But nothing else. And it seems contained inside the shield spell that protects the portal. So...
Well, it's not undead.
Nope.
And it's not a demon, she says to her sisters.
The woman looks with pleading eyes.
Do we leave well enough alone?
Mazi, you would know because you're an abjuration wizard and work still with the Mage Academy that they will send abjuration troubleshooters along soon. clear up what's coming out of the portal. So if you move on and if you report this, they will send the cleanup crew earlier this way. It seems to be contained. So you would have to break first the shield spell in order to get to the creature. And that sounds like a bad idea.
I'd like to
It
try and
does
just do.
sound a bad
Yeah,
idea.
it does. But I'd like to do a check to see what it is.
Oh yeah.
Like
Then please give me an Arcana check.
+1.
You can also do one if you want.
Oh, that was just a 7.
Can I do some sort of what hellish abomination is this check?
Oh yeah, klar. You can do an Arcana check. Everyone who
Are we
sees that
all
movie is
roll-
like, what's that?
I mean, I'm guessing it's kind of across and away, but I'd still be able to see it because I'm still on the wrong side of the.
Are we all rolling Arcana?
What? Yeah. I mean, you can just say like,
16.
weird thing.
I'm curious.
That was a good roll, and I'm not even proficient.
Nice.
Feels like something I should know. Maybe, I don't know.
22.
Nice. I rolled
22.
bad.
Nice.
And you guys roll well.
I got a 21.
Yay.
21. And what had you, Favine?
Oh, I had a 7.
Okay. So you think, this looks weird. And Sienna thinks, this looks like some kind of mutated ooze. And Maria and Adeline know that this is called an oblex. And basically there are oozes that have been experimented with or have been influenced by wild magic in this case. And by several magic things coming together, basically. This is just the right environment to form. And they not only devour flesh, they also devour memories. And so you can tell that that woman is someone that they have basically eaten. And part of her memory creates that simulacrum of her. And this is an adult oblex, so it has several people that it has consumed and could take their form. And basically that woman is like an umbilical noose connected to that mass of slime that's half hanging out, half hanging in that portal and sewer water.
I think
It is evil.
in response to seeing just the mutated ooze, having just had one explode behind her and seen what the others do, like Sunny would want to attack.
We want to attack?
Yeah.
The creature is contained by the magic shield that surrounds the...
I think like Sunny wouldn't necessarily understand what's going on. She's just like, her automatic response is, that is a thing that should not exist.
Very well, then go ahead.
Alright. She's not the most magically minded. She has magic, but she's not magically minded. So that's a 19
That's the
to
best
hit.
thing.
So,
19.
how do you want to attack this?
She's sending a fireball.
Okay. So
Because in her head, that destroys everything. Like, fireball pretty much destroy everything, unless it's water and then you send something else.
although
Sorry, I'm
you
just
did
looking for
see that it
defense.
did not do as much damage to the ooze as you would have liked it
Yeah,
to.
this is more what horror is that? You know?
It's a panic spell.
Jerk reaction. Fire. So,
So, back to the depths of not my hell with you.
so you
so
raise
that
your
would be-
hand.
Yeah, that would just be 16 damage if it hits and does anything. That's just like a gut of, oh no, not having that anywhere near me.
So you hit fair and square right where the face of the woman is, and you see your spell dissipate and frazzle over the shield. But she is letting go of the shield and standing there.
Praveen will put her hand on Sienna's shoulder and just kind of like pull her closer, very slowly, very carefully.
I'm on the other side of the river of poop.
Are you?
Where
did you get
very
that?
long reach. Before that.
Oh, I get my pole with my hook. And I'm just gonna pull her back with my pole and hook. And
As I'm
Beautiful.
pulled backwards, Sienna would instantly be looking for runes, something of that nature that indicates a magical trap. Now that her brain is switched on, that there is some sort of magic here.
Mhm. Roll for
Investigation.
investigation.
As I'm being yoinked backwards.
It's very slow and gentle. It's just like, no.
No.
No,
That's 17.
You can see several protection spells in use that will contain basically this creature and will keep you, on the other hand, out of it. You would have to unravel the whole magic protection that keeps this portal separated from the city, basically, to get to that creature. So, and this is basically, you're here, you have to go in this direction, and this is all the way over there. So you don't have to cross through there. It's basically the cistern.
I don't think we need to trouble that. I don't know what it is, but we clearly don't need to trouble it.
It's nothing good, and it's contained already, so let's just continue. It's not part of the job we've been sent to do.
Well, it's
And I continue walking.
I am not being paid for this.
It's not undead, it's not a fiend, I'm happy.
Adeline, what are you thinking?
I'm taking mental notes. I'm wondering if I can help secure it a little bit more with my knowledge of abjuration. I have some spells that I did not prepare today that would be able to help fortify this.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought fit to prepare Arcane Lock. So I'm wondering if I can use that on the portal and strengthen the portal, even though it's not like...
Yes. Because you learned at this academy and know how the wizards here do the things. And every student basically learns how most of those magic words work. So you could just basically put that spell slot in a way in there to strengthen the already existing weave.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend a second level spell slot to cast Arcane Lock and help fortify it. And then with that, I'm going to also summon up my my ward.
Oh yeah,
so
good idea.
I get that 6.
I think it's something like intelligence and level.
Intelligence, yeah, it's going to be 12 because I've got 6 levels in wizard, and then it's going to be my int modifier, which is 4, so it's going to be 16.
Yeah, perfect. Very good. So the arcane ward springs up around you, and I guess you make a mental note to tell the university or the team that's responsible for this part that they should go and kick something out. So you move on through the sewer system, and then you get into this curious, after a while of walking, you are walking for at least half an hour or so without finding any secret doors or traps. It all seemed safe. And you come into this curious cross-section where basically sewer and the catacombs overlap. So you find one wall where the catacombs here are a little bit like they are in France, if you have been there. So you have basically walls that are consistent of bones. You have this little niches in the wall where skeletons lie. You have whole walls that look like just skulls or femurs stacked on top of each other. It's a pretty gruesome sight, especially the part where it's crossing from one part into the other is very surreal when you have still sewer, but the first bones suddenly appear. There is this podest with several skulls arranged like you come into some noble's house and they have this podest. Normally there would be this flower bouquet greeting visitors. There are just skulls on top of that. And then you come into this very, very narrow pathways that are encrusted with bones. And it looks like someone took a great deal of care. Those bones, those are not nasty, half-rotten and chewed on bones like they lie somewhere in the sewer. Those look like they have been cleaned and polished, and set there with the greatest of care and reverence. So it is a weird sight because you don't. Nowadays, the city has its own necropolis on the outskirts, but this is not. It is ghastly in a way and gruesome, but not in a desecrating way. Yeah.
Rather than being like someone's grave you robbed and just collected it for aesthetic, and it doesn't quite feel like just a normal catacombs where things have just been ordered, they've all been cleaned and polished. It's like, you know, a warlock's wet dream. Just
Oh yeah. I put a stream.
Edgy
The
and-
stream has a picture up, and this is a little bit what it looks like. This is like a small room. There are also other places where it's just basically walls and narrow walkways that you pass through. And I'm going to also show you something right here on in chat. If I find it.
Sienna seeing it wouldn't be spooked. She's definitely been places that are worse and seen weirder things. But she would say a prayer to Lathander, just hoping that in the, you know, for good things for their next life kind of deal.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. So it is not this has not been done to in any way, I don't know, desecrate the bones, basically. But it was obviously just a thing to do a few hundred years back. So you come through all those walkways with skulls, and after a while, in the sewers there were lights, and here are only a few magical lights illuminating the whole area. So it's starting to get dark. The tieflings are not being bothered by this because they have dark vision, but how about Edelyn? Because you don't have dark vision.
I don't, but I do have the light cantrip. So I'm going to pull out this like little flask of water, and then I pour it into my hand, and it forms into a bubble. And then I take out some algae and sprinkle it into it, and when it does that, it starts glowing.
Oh, fantastic. So you hold that in your hand, the glowing water bubble. Perfect.
Yeah.
And you
I
have
love it.
perfect.
Bioluminescent algae.
Amazing.
It doesn't want to be this way. I did it with magic.
Okay. Sienna's now like, should she be asking algae permission before going swimming? She's now wondering if there's something she's missed in the grand scheme of life when it comes to sea plants.
Oh, amazing. So, for one moment, while we all admire the light source, let's cheer our own Exilium, Renee, one of the heads of Tiamat, our admin team. Thanks for redeeming the cheers.
Sienna is someone who grew up in the desert, so she has no idea about water, so that's why she's like a tiny bit ignorant as to what is going on with this glowing algae. Also, it's far too hot right now.
Oh yeah, I can see that. You look like you're melting. Fevine gets 1 level spell slot back from Jason, Moth Banquet. And you get an advantage from Exilium, Renee again.
Oh, presents, thank you.
What are they after?
Yeah.
So no Dungeon Master advantage. As you descend basically deeper and deeper under the city, and you're not walking straight out of the center of the city, but you're basically you're spiraling down into the deeper levels. And you suddenly start to hear music. There is this very festive music. It sounds like someone is playing a waltz. And you can hear voices, very, very faint voices. Sounds like da 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 da. String instruments and a piano.
Everyone hears that, right? That's not just me.
You all hear that.
Not just you.
And there's laughter and chattering and clinking of glasses.
Do they sound quite far away?
It sounds like it's getting closer.
Okay. When it sounds like it's getting close, I'd like to divine sense again and open up my awareness. The glowing eyes of my mask get brighter as I reach out to try and feel if I can sense anything.
How far is your reach?
60 foot.
60 foot. At the moment, you're like the hallway that you're in is pretty long, so you are out of reach of whatever is coming up ahead. But I think you can hold on to that sense, right?
It's for an action, but I can do it another time. I can do it. It's
Would you like to hold on to that because you would have seen that there is nothing in 60 foot of you?
I can use it a number of times equal +1 plus your charisma modifier. So I've used it once.
Okay.
I've got 4, so I can do it again. I'm quite happy to just keep going and then fire it off again.
Do it again. So for now, you don't feel anything except for your companions that share a heritage with you. You come through an archway that's made completely out of skulls, been fortified by the thigh bones. And you come into this grand, it looks like a cross between a macabre ballroom made out of bones and a cave. And there are chandeliers hanging, and there are also big sprawling candelabras, basically this where you can put the candles on top that come up from the ground. And there are people with masks twirling on a makeshift dance floor. It's rather a big crowd, and they are talking, they are laughing. You hear clinking glasses, and it looks very festive.
This is quite the Battle of the Bars after party.
And they have all this elaborate, slightly outdated fashion that they are wearing.
Yeah,
I have a question related to how much skin they have.
Yeah.
They seem to have the right amount of skin on their body.
Okay.
But like for a body about
You're thinking of the dance macabre, right?
Skin for a body that's been dead for 70 years.
No, they look like they're alive.
Am I close enough now to shoot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. So as long as they're not behind total cover, I know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 foot. I know the type of celestial fiend or undead as well. Since we're in the catacombs, I'm expecting undead.
You are opening your senses.
Yeah.
Right. And your skin starts to crawl. The hair in the back of your neck is like going up. It feels like a cold hand is running down your spine as your senses scream at you to run because there are undead. There are vampires dancing here underneath the city. A whole room of them.
Favine's breath catches in her throat. And she whispers to her sister, loud enough for them here, but not too loud to draw attention, because that would be a bad idea. And she says, vampires. Lots and lots. So many. She raises her hand to her head as she's being overwhelmed with how many there are in here.
Everyone in this room?
I think so. Or the majority of them.
Are you suggesting this is a vampire masquerade?
I am. I'm insinuating.
Insinuating?
That's better than exsanguinate.
That's definitely better than exsanguinate.
Yeah. The very
Favine's
high,
half dressed for this.
very high passive perception and investigation that Evelyn has. You pick up purple in the crowd. Dark purple. That looks like, are those sisters? At the outskirts of the of the dancing couples and the celebrating mass. And there is a man at the bottom of the stairs as you're coming to the... You're at the basically at the beginning of the ballroom. There's stairs going down to the dance floor, and I posted him in chat, and I think Leonie is so kind to show them in chat.
Yeah.
And he's looking at... He has handsome features, quite chiseled. His hair is the silvery gray, and his skin is pale, almost as pale as Favine. But while hers has this glow of mother of pearl, his looks just quite dead. Let's not dance around it. His lips are just as pale as the rest of his skin, and his eyes are red. And he nods at you and says, "Sisters, are you reinforcement?"
Reinforcements for what?
Your colleagues are already there and guarding our assembly. And he makes a sweeping bow, and you see, Favine, you recognize a wood elf sitting with a bored and slightly annoyed look on her face while she's talking to what looks like a squirrel on her shoulder. And you see, that's Viridi, and you see several halflings also standing guard at the outskirts, and some other sisters all in purple outfits with their pins and brooches and circlets. Announcing them to the world to be agents.
Vivine turns to her new sisters and she says, "Some of those were the sisters that I met when we tried to retrieve the harpsichord." Then she waves.
And Sweetie is hopping up and like...
Which is probably the most animated thing that you've ever seen Vivine do.
It's sort of like awkward, like hand thing when you're like you're not sure if you know them, and then they finally wave back, and you're like, yes,
I know you.
Yes, exactly like that. So Vivine starts to descend the stairs to go speak to her other sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I know the
And
the light temple.
the gentleman is looking at you and passing him, pleasantly smiling. Obviously, you are either not right in the vicinity of this effect of the radiant light, or you are too far underground for it to take hold. But you must be right at the outskirts. And the man looks at you now, slightly frowning, looking after Favine. We do have all the proper paperwork. We filled the contract.
Yeah, we're here for this.
Oh,
We're
so
actually following a different contract at the moment. We just happened to upon you.
I see. And he gives you this sly look and said, "That's too bad. Would you care for a dance?" And he bows and holds out his hand in this courtly fashion.
Not wanting to be rude, Maria accepts.
If you are in a hurry, he says, and winks at you, "I will dance you to the exit on the other side."
That would be quite helpful. Probably
Wonderful.
the quickest way to go across a ballroom floor rather than around it.
And as he holds out his hand, and as you accept it, he kisses your hand. And normally you don't really kiss the hand, right? You just go close to it, but he's really pressing his cold lips against it. And then
Maria has no heart to tell him he's barking up the wrong tree.
And then he swerves you in a very animated waltz and basically takes you this round to the other
I
side.
think with the dress that Maria wears, it actually looks really elegant, especially because she's got the cloak over one shoulder as well.
It looks splendid and fabulous. And on the other side, he gives you another bow and said, "Maybe when your contract is fulfilled, you will grace us with your presence again."
Perhaps. It all depends on how the cards fall.
I know all about that. And then he moves into the crowd again. What
And
are
I
the
just
other
wait on the
ladies?
other side for everyone to catch up with me.
Are you all dancing through or just passing on the side?
Vivine is wanting to speak to her other sisters to find out what they're doing.
Mhm. Yeah.
She's
Can
not
weave
telling-
through the crowds without a problem. In fact, Tilly is coming towards you and like, I didn't know that we are going to get someone to help us. We have everything under control.
We're just passing through. We're still on the dark fire cult problem.
Oh no, not again. Did they steal something else?
No,
Or is it still about the other stuff?
I went to go see an associate of mine, a silver dragon.
The one that you told us about?
No, that was the bard. This
Oh,
is,
okay.
This is a silver dragon.
Oh.
He's a dear friend of mine, and he gave me some information that concerned me. So we're down here investigating. What are you doing here?
Well, this was a standing contract to ensure the safety of this assembly and also to it's a kind of safety measure. They want to prove that there are no danger to the general populace. Also, last time they were dancing, they had a trouble with vampire slayers, so they hired us as countermeasure. This is Lord Silvestri. He is very distantly related to the Duke.
An ancestor, I presume. And Vivine looks over
Yeah. I think that's what they what they have in mind when they talk about a silver fox. And she laughs.
Vivine just like crooks a smile. All right. It's good to know that you are close if things do go south.
Oh yeah, and she pats her belt, and there are her trusted weapons.
But yeah, no, we're not here to reinforce you. She's like, she nods her head.
Yeah, I have half a heart to join you and help you against those cultists, but you know, the contract.
Yes, you follow yours and we'll do ours. I'm sure we'll be fine.
And she holds out her hand to shake it.
Vivine takes it.
Good, happy hunting, sister.
And happy guarding, I guess.
She looks quizzically. I have seen worse side as she looks at the butt. It's in the right, right in the right side, right?
Vivine's smile grows and she was like, it's not too bad more north either. And she bows and excuses herself.
Okay. So you get also to the other side?
Yeah. Edlin's gonna stop by the refreshment table and she's going to just get a... do they have any water here? Is the real question.
Was it all blood?
Is it all blood? Is it wine?
There are pretty goblets, and most of them are filled with a red liquid.
Oh.
You have to find out.
Well,
Roll to sniff.
I'll take a sip and see what it tastes like.
It tastes interesting. It seems at the first moment you think, oh yeah, wine, and then you're like, what's that metallic aftertaste?
Oh no.
This is wild.
That's definitely blood.
Mixture.
Definitely blood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of like stand over near whatever sort of like indoor underground houseplant they have, toss it over my shoulder, and then I'm going to create water in the glass and then just pour it on top of myself.
I imagine they have one of those great big ivy vines just over the top, and they've placed in like tiny fairy lights or something to it, and it's just this wine.
Yeah, just waiting in the corner until nobody's looking, and then just then water.
Well, there's like one of those Venus flytraps, but like a big D&D style one, and it's there like, like Audrey too.
Oh no, I just fed Audrey too. Anyway, it's probably fine.
As you move away from the planter, you see this little bat landing on that planter and like lapping up the blood out of the earth.
Aww.
No, it's probably a vampire. Don't harm it.
It looks so cute.
It looks so cute in a bat form. Just say like that.
It looks at you with its nose like.
I think the problem is Tahina looks cute in bat form, and it's throwing us all off. This is a vampire. So Sunny is probably like weaving her way through, trying to get just through this crowd since we've decided this isn't what we're here to do, what we're meant to be doing. But the entire time, Booper is straining on his leash as he's seeing sparkly brooches and little antique like hair pieces and that sort of thing, and he's dying to steal the shiny.
Oh yeah.
He really wanted the diamond necklace that just went waltzing past, but that's gone now.
There is a brightly glittering stone lying in front of them on the floor. Oh no, that's not a stone. That is one of those earrings that you just stick in. Not one of the dangly ones, but one of those big.
A stud.
A stud, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I knew the German word for that.
Now you know the English.
Not for the life of me the English.
Seeing the diamond necklace go waltzing past, he kind of climbs up Sienna's arm to try and jump backwards for it, but he kind of falls off and falls to the floor, and then he sees the stud, and he just kind of leeches onto it like full-handed, covering it so that no one can see it, and he's like slowly like curling his fingers underneath, and he'll like crawl back towards Sienna and try and pretend like he hasn't got anything.
I kind of remind him jumping, and it's just as far as his leech reaches, falling flat, curling, and then like being pulled back by the leech for a moment.
Yeah, and Sienna will just like see that he's just out of control, cannot contain himself, and just put him back in the bottom of the bag and kind of cover him with some of the rope that's in there in the hope that it'll keep him busy.
If he had a mouth, he would sound like because he got something, although you didn't want him to.
Yeah, he got something. He took it back to his nest. It's his now.
Yes, it's mine. Finders keepers. So you all pass through this ballroom, and the other side, just basically the same hallway, going with a slope downwards. And you're passing on through other hallways. Now and then looking at the map, and like, oh yeah, we're getting pretty close to that location that seems to be the most likely. And after a while, you leave those skulls and bones behind, and it starts to get this this smell. When you get into a cave, you can also smell water. And you hear dripping sounds, and it has this very earthy smell. It feels more natural here. Although now and then you pass what looks like an old house. Are those ruins around us in those caverns hidden? Maybe part of that older civilization. But you follow the makeshift way, and then, Ellen. There's something in your way. That looks like a glyph of warding. And not just a run-of-the-mill kind of glyph of warding. This is very high-profile magic.
Interesting.
Right in the front of you, at basically bottleneck of that way. It looks old.
Yeah.
It's partly covered with dust.
Interesting. I have Glyph of Warding in my spellbook. I didn't prepare it today, but I do have Identify prepared. So I'm going to tell the other sisters to stand back. I'm going to attempt to identify what this does. And maybe good things will happen and maybe bad things will happen.
Yeah.
Favine stays 10 foot close to Marty. Just in case.
Okay. I think identify is more for objects, right? I think if you want to look at this, maybe detect magic to see what's contained, right?
Yeah,
might be the more likely thing. Also, you do know the glyph of warding, so you can make educated guesses as what's going on here. let me check, identify if it works on things like that, because I have it in mind that it's only like items.
It does objects. I have detect magic.
Yeah. I think that fits better because you will see part of the weave, right? And what kind of school it is. Mhm.
I will cast detect magic then.
Mhm. As always in Ostend, you're for a moment like blinded because there's so much magic saturating everything around you. And the glyph in front of you is old. Someone with a very expert hand shaped the weave of magic into this glyph and created it with great knowledge. The glyph has been casted on a higher level, and it contains some form of illusionary magic. So a school of illusion. This is not going to explode in your faces, but if you trigger it, something will happen that will confuse your senses or something.
Interesting.
Papers.
No, we're not.
Okay, well,
And you see there is a nifty little loop. Someone created this so that it would catch up ambient magic and would refill after a while. So you would guess. Oh, roll me an Arcana check.
Sure. Ooh, 9.
Oh, yeah. This is some form of illusion magic, and it's not going to explode. Of that you're
There's
sure.
a book somewhere. I had it earlier.
Alright, I'm going to explain that to the rest of the ladies. This is old magic, and as much as it will be uncomfortable to explain this to you, you're going to have to not trust your senses past this point.
What do you mean?
If you see something, hear something, feel something that alarms you, do your best to ignore it.
So it might not actually be there, is what you're saying.
Yes. And if it is, that will be terrible for all of us.
The glyphs are going to affect our minds. Is there nothing we can do to prevent that?
I would possibly be able to dispel it. No, I don't think I can. It's older. I don't have the resources available to me yet. With study and time, perhaps in a few years I could do it, but I would hesitate to remove it to begin with, because it's not here just to keep us out, but possibly something else in. These are old ruins. I would not like to mess with something that was possibly, and I'm gonna knock on it a little bit, made with benevolence. So,
Will it affect just those who physically cross them?
I
Does
don't
it
know.
touch the glyphs, or anyone
I
who
have no
passes
idea.
through the open way?
Are you touching the glyph?
Yeah.
Oh, the glyph starts to glow, and you see the hallway in front of you. But
I still
if you're,
have detect magic up.
it's
Is it?
brightly lit now. The illusion has started.
Okay. That hallway isn't real.
Yeah.
Sienna, I have an idea. Sienna is gonna take Booper, like pull the rope out the way and fish him out, and take whatever he's holding and shove that back in the bag, and put him on his leash. And she's gonna send Booper ahead,
Mhm.
and using her ability with the familiar to kind of sense what Booper can sense, try and get an idea of what the passage is going to show us is there before we cross through. And she'll kind of explain it as quickly as she can, not really understanding the magic of it, just like, this is how it works, just trust me.
I let you go up there, and I let you roll an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. Okay, for advantage, that's a nat 20. So that is investigation 25.
Oh, nice. I'm going to give our viewers 10 XP in chat, because every time we roll a nat 20, the viewers get 10 XP extra. And because of your net 20 and
I bought a book in when I came and got some tobacco
your
to check
helping
the floor
hand,
or around the bed.
you go in there. He is crawling over the floor, and after a while,
Sorry, what?
you see this hallway, and it's no longer I say hallway, but it's basically this. It's more like a cave, very narrow cave. So it looks like natural terrain. And you can clearly see that this cave makes a sharp right-hand cross and moves over to the side. But as your helping hand crawls along and you examine this very closely, and at what he feels and what you see, some things don't mesh up. And you suddenly see, as the illusion breaks, that in fact there is a way to the right-hand side. But there is a narrow passage through this cave, right center, slightly to the left-hand side. And that was covered by the illusion and hidden. But your investigation broke the spell, so you can clear as day see that that passageway.
Alright, so as she's
Also,
obviously using...
quick thing, you feel something slightly vibrate. Close to your bosom.
I feel it, or Boofer feels it?
You feel that.
Okay, so as I'm kind of snapping back from using Boofer's senses, I'm like, ooh.
Mm.
And she kind of grabs her boobs, like...
There,
Did
you
the wards...
connected something hard, and there is the key that you wear around your neck.
So
And the
she'll look up at Edlin, like, is this normal? Is this what the wards do? And then she'll pull out the key that's on a long chain around her neck and kind of hold it up and swing it. She'd kind of forgotten she had it. Just it's one of those things she's just had for a long time.
Mhm.
And she'll look at it. She's like, "Really? You open a door down here?" And she's like accusing the key.
I've tried you for years.
Yeah, I turn to the other sisters and say, like I said, you'll see things and you're not supposed to trust your senses.
Oh,
Now she's
you're sure
screaming
you
at
feel
these.
that humming vibration.
And no, really, look. And she'll hold it out so that Edlin can also like touch the key and feel it.
Okay, yeah, I'll follow into the hallway.
So you are going through that narrow space that has been revealed, that crack
Yes.
in the wall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. As you pass through, you see a door. Just after a few feet. It looks old, but it is not covered in dust. It looks perfectly pristine. Although the floor in front of it seems undisturbed. And it is set in a side of an old building. So it's like part cavern and cave and part house. It is inlaid with, it is pretty beautifully carved and also inlaid with metal. The key hums strongly.
Seeing how pristine the area in front of it is, even though we've been warned it was old glyphs,
You've got yours in the fridge.
Sunny wants to do some sort of check to see if there's a trap here, knowing that usually if there's a trap, it's hidden under the perfect layer of dust kind of deal. And yeah, can I do some sort of investigation to see if there's anything like in front of the door that if I stand on it, it's gonna do something?
Oh yeah,
She's
go
looking on
ahead.
the floor for a device.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, nat 20! Can I show you? I don't know if I can show you.
I believe you. Fantastic. Oh yeah, there is a trap.
Alright, I'm gonna take that dice out rotation just in case it's off balance, because that's a lot of 20s.
Another 10 XP for the viewers.
It's investigations. Sienna's like, I sniff treasure.
There is a trap. And it's not a glyph, but some form of mechanical trap. If you step too close to the door and try to basically open the lock or put the key in there, you would trigger some form of bolt that would come out of a little nook over the keyhole, and that would hit you. But you can use thief tools to try to disable it.
Yes, I would like to do that, because that is a thing that I have.
Perfect.
It's Dex, right? They use.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was not a good roll.
Oh dear.
5 plus 3 plus proficiency is another 3, 6 is 11.
You're doing a saving throw.
No,
Okay.
No.
skills. Skill check.
But she's rolling a saving throw right now.
Dex.
Throw me a text.
I swear to God.
And I
It
think
is.
it's another nat 20.
Yeah,
You need to
it's a
keep the
different
die.
Different dice. I rolled the other ones on the red one.
Oh.
Alright, that's it. I'm never playing with Roll20 again. Real dice is the way to go. Alright.
Yay, another convert! I hate Roll20.
I quite like Roll20,
No.
but so that would be a 27.
Very good. So you, just in time,
It'd actually be a 31.
duck out of the way. Wow.
Because you get a +4 from Favine.
And you can even yell out, "Watch out!" as this bolt springs forth, as if it was new, not centuries old, and embeds itself in the hallway, in the wall right behind you.
I look at it, and then I look at everyone else like, did you just see that? That was not meant to happen. I disabled the trap. And she's gonna look down at it and see if she can make sure that it is disabled and that it isn't just a reloading mechanism that's just slowly cranking.
It seems to be one of those reloading things, yeah. Also, Marzi, Edlin gets a level 1 spell slot back. Someone redeemed their XP, and it's Ixilium again. And Cation gave me Dungeon Master advantage, so I have 2 of them now.
So this time, to try and get it to work a bit better, she's going to get Booper to help her. So Booper's going to hold a couple of tools, she's going to hold a couple of tools, and we're going to really try and crank this using the help action to get advantage.
Yeah, you get.
Unless someone else wants to
3
jump
hands
in.
are better
I
than
don't
2.
want to hog the trap. I'm happy to share the trap if anyone wants to come play.
No, Favine's solution would be to break that door down.
Alright, so with advantage, that's 11 plus 6 is 17.
Oh yeah, you can disable the reset mechanism, and the trap is disabled. So you can get to the keyhole without a problem.
I suggest you stay back just in case there's any other traps. And having warned the sisters, she hopes they do stay back just in case. And she'll reach out with this key, which has it's kind of a big circle on one end where the loop is, and then it's a long, thin metal bar with lots of metal prongs coming off it in different directions. It looks very different, kind of, a skeleton ribcage key type deal. And she'll carefully insert it into the locking mechanism and turn it like a quarter clockwise, and then slowly ease it around to
very nice.
To get the cylinders to drop and lock and
This
hopefully open the door.
Goes in smoothly. You hear the first faint click, and you start turning it, and it turns without the issue. It's like dragging hot knife through butter. It's perfect fit. And you hear click, click, click. And in the drawer, it is also, you hear very old mechanisms whirring and going and clicking. And as soon as you finished the whole circle, there's a soft hissing sound, and the door starts to softly open. It's the inside.
Is it opening towards us or away from us?
It's opening away from you. And on that note, as the door opens, I would say let's do a quick bathroom break. Just 5 minutes before I'm exploding.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we have abandonment issues. See you in 5 minutes.
1 minute, I think. I might have broken the audio again. I broke it again! How?
Although I
They'll get
could
fixed.
just now.
I might have broken the audio again. Okay, it's fixed. You're good.
Ah.
Oh, now I can hear myself on stream, so should work now. So, yeah, humbling. It's all part of life. So, last we saw our heroes. Sienna has used a mystery key that she had for years and years and opened an ancient door to the maybe workplace of Canella, the Archmage. I don't know. Let's find out. So with a soft hissing sound, the door opens.
Booper, unable to contain curiosity, is going to creep up to the door and kind of peer around.
Okay. So what?
And Sienna, seeing this, is going to like discreetly like flick into his brain to try and get a sense of what's beyond the door.
Very good. So please make a perception check for me.
Okay.
Everybody?
Oh yeah, you all can make perception check if you want to.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely like checking it out.
That's not so good. That's an 8.
Oh dear.
Have a
It's even worse than last time. It's a 5.
Evelyn is muted.
Oh, sorry.
They-
Edlin got, I think, just an 11 for a regular check.
And Favine, what did you roll?
17.
17. So you basically grab your sister's by the scruff of their neck or of their clothes as they want to step inside. You all basically are crammed in this doorway. It's a pretty broad doorway, much broader than the usual ones, because the door is basically opening like this, right? It's not just one door, but 2 more slender doors. And you look into this room that is a mishmash of a natural cavern, because there are stalactites dropping down from the ceiling. But there are also real walls that have been built with stone and mortar. And there are shelves brimming with scrolls and books. There are workbenches around the room, stuffed full with all kinds of gadgets and orbs and little flasks and vials and whatever. But there is a big space slightly to the right-hand side of you, and there are magic circles. Some of them look like they just have been traced into the fine sand that has been put in there. Some of them look more permanent. They have been created by metal wire that has been shaped and welded to the floor. Some of them are these big slabs of different colored marble, very precisely engraved with all kinds of runes and shapes. There are triangles and spheres and squares, and everything that can be found in geometry is in there somewhere. And there is a magic circle coming very close to the doorway, and you almost would have stepped into that magic circle. So Favine is like, just a second. No, she wouldn't say it like that. That's way too. But she's just silently holding you and pointing out those fine lines in the sand right behind the door.
Oh, nice catch.
Yeah, but you can just, if you go one after the other and slightly to the left, you can just easily avoid it without stepping into the circles.
Ooh.
Sienna will tug back Booper, and she wants to try and pull her key out of the door. She wants her key back.
Oh, yeah. It seemed stuck. Maybe you can only tuck it out if you close it again.
Seeing Fabine's face and obviously the wariness of what's going on, she'll kind of stop and step out the way and let the others do what needs to be done.
Very good. I would like to thank the Killer Droid for giving advantage to Liz. So, Liz, Maria has advantage on her next roll.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, yeah.
On our next roll, I haven't used mine. I was just holding it.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
No, that's okay. You know what? Yeah, choose when to use it. It doesn't have to be the next roll. It can be for combat. What you can see when you step inside, for one moment you are like stunned because there are those there are candles that seem to be lit, and after a second you see that's one of those those flames that never extinguish, basically. And there seem to be also breaks in the wall and breaks in the ceiling where some form of external light source is throwing light inside the room. And right underneath one of such a break in the ceiling, there is one of the circles that is active. It is the one on the far right-hand side, basically in the corner. And the light from whatever that's outside is coming inside. It's like this shaft of light coming down in that circle and illuminating a slender, small form lying inside the circle.
Divine senses. I got it. I may as well use it. Yes, I'd like to use divine senses, please.
There is an abyssal presence in the room, in the direction of that circle.
Favine's tail, usually it's just kind of like swaying lazily, but it completely stops and goes rigid. And she hisses as she has noticed this abyssal creature in the circle. Can we approach it? Does it look like it's trapped, or is it having a nap? What's it doing?
It looks like a child.
Okay.
Lying on the floor.
So it's abyssal. What type of?
When you look at for some time, you can see that the shoulders are shivering.
Okay. So it's abyssal. What type of abyssal is it? Because obviously divine senses lets me know that.
It feels like that guy that you fought on the ship.
It's a host. Can I roll to sniff?
You can roll to sniff. Indeed, roll to sniff.
I'm sorry, it's a child. It's got to be evil. Every child in D&D is evil.
Yeah, they cannot be
That's not
trusted.
true. Sometimes they're just chaotic neutral.
At which point they can die too.
That was a 15.
There is a smell of burning flesh in the air and this tangy smell that you recognize as corrupted fire.
It's a host. Favine.
A host?
Yes. A fire, a dark fire cult host. That is not a child. It is possessed by the dark entities.
We must be cautious then. You've fought them before. Is there something we must know beyond their explosion? Lighting. Sure.
When they die, they explode. Stand back. Vivine readies her. Ow! Dizzy, why did you put... Sorry, my cat just stuck his claws in me.
Oh.
Sneak attack!
It is a house!
Strikes!
What an arsehole, go away.
It's that assassin you've been dreading the entire time.
to my own house. Anyway, what was I saying? I completely lost my thoughts.
Stand back, and then you ready your
Weapon. There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast mage armor on myself and get ready for battle. I realize I haven't done that yet. Thank you for that first level spell. It's very helpful for that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Comes in handy, as I said. What are you doing?
I approach cautiously.
Are you stepping inside magic circles?
I'm avoiding them because I can see them.
Roll me a dexterity saving throw in order to... Oh no, just a dexterity check to avoid them.
This room is Twister.
Yeah.
With magic circle.
Magic twister.
That was a 17.
A 17.
It was an 18 minus 1.
Without a problem, you can avoid stepping on lines and don't touch any of the magic circles.
Hey.
And as you approach, the creature in the circle starts to rouse. And from the floor, you see this small, dirt-encrusted face that has track marks of tears going through the dirt. And a bit of snot under the nose. It is a child of some mixed heritage. There seems to be elven blood in there. And she looks pitifully up at you and holds her foot. Her leg seems to be broken.
Your crocodile tears don't work on me, creature. I know exactly what you are.
I want my mama. Have you come to save me?
God damn it.
Evil.
I've been here for quite some time.
And then we learned that the host was Method. Oh no. Oh, this is heavy.
My
for
neck
me.
hurts.
She that consumes all things sends her regards.
I cannot get out of here. I tried it, but every time I do this, and then she reaches out with her pitifully thin fingers and touches the edge of the circle, and you see the shield flare up and spark, and she... Then it bites me.
Vivine is just going to ignore the child from here because she knows where it is. She's not interested in playing in this game. And she begins to look around the room. Now she remembers Adamar telling her about the candle. The demon is absolutely no threat. It's trapped at the moment. So she's going to look around the room and look for Canella's candle.
Roll me an investigation check, and if you move, I want you to do another dex check.
Okay.
Is it safe to enter, Levine?
The demon's trapped, but ignore its cries of pity.
You see the bottom lip is trembling, and tears are...
It will effectively
Crazy.
break your heart if you look at it.
Oh, it's already
Will you
breaking my
help
heart
me?
and I'm not looking at it.
Alright, 16
Maria
plus
just
4.
ignores it as she enters
I'm
the
so
room, avoiding the
hungry.
magic circle.
I have been here for days. Please, please help me. I miss my mama.
Does anyone have a
Yeah.
silence spell?
Unfortunately not. The only thing I could do to this thing is cause it to become more frightened.
I have a thing I can do. But I need to see if I can get... Hang on, how close do I need to be able to do it? Oh, I'm within 90 feet, right?
Oh yeah, easily.
Alright, I would like to cast Sleep.
Okay.
Um,
Roll me 5d8, unless you're casting at a higher
but
level.
what I would like to do is kind of position myself so that that creature is hopefully the closest, and I just hope that She's gonna have less hit points than the rest of the party.
Okay, roll me a dex check, like acrobatics. In your case, I guess you have that.
I sure do. That was a 19.
Very well. You don't step on any magic lines.
Plus 6, so yeah, it was 25.
Mhm.
Okay.
Very good.
And then it was like 5d8, so 5, that's 10, 6, 16,
Mhm.
2, 18, and another 5. So that's 23 HP.
Oh yeah, the child with one last really heartbreaking whimper sinks together. And for one moment, it looks like she just lost her strength, because she looks like she has been here for some time. She's dirty, and there are tracks and tracks of tears, and she looks very pitifully thin. And she just slumps. She looks like a pile of rags with this small face sticking
By the way,
out.
just so you know, if she is actually undead herself, it won't work on her. She'll be immune.
She's not undead.
Okay, that's fine. I was just letting you know because that was a condition in the spell.
Mhm. Yeah, no, she falls asleep.
I rolled a 20 for my investigation.
Mhm. There is no Canella's candle to be seen. But you can roll me an intelligence or an history check if you're proficient in history.
I'm not. Can I roll a religion?
No.
Oh. Can I just roll straight intelligence instead then?
Okay. Yeah.
What if Sienna asks what you're looking for? Because I'm proficient in history.
My Silver Dragon associate told me of Canella's candle. It is an item that will always allow you to find home. Now, I don't know why he told me that. It wasn't really related to what we were speaking about. But he mentioned it could be one of the items that they were looking for.
Well, all right. I'll look. Do I know what it looks like?
Well, give me just a history check.
Yep. 15 plus 8 is 23.
Okay. What did you have, Favine?
I rolled an 11.
An 11. An 11 is enough to know that Canella's candle is a very famous magic item. It is famous because it's one of the Archmage herself created it as a wedding gift to her beloved king, Marathon the Explorer.
Oh, yeah.
He was very fond of sailing, and she gave it to him so he would never get lost in a storm and would always find his way back to her.
It's all coming back to me as of what Adama told me last session.
And you can't find it here, and your int check also tells you that it's most likely in the king's treasury.
Okay.
Can I ask a real quick question?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm trying to hash this out in my brain space.
Mhm.
So this kid, despite having like pretty real threats against it, was the sort of feeling that we're getting from this, like I'll roll an insight check. I'm just trying to phrase it properly. I'm wondering, because it didn't respond to any threats. It just keeps asking if like we're here to help it. So I'm wondering one of two things. Is this child a host in the way that like somebody could be host to a parasite and not even realize that it's in there? And for some reason, this demon is just like sort of translating what we're saying to it into like nonsense or like something that it would like to hear, or if it's just like completely taken over like a host from
It could
horror
still.
movie. So like there's two types of hosts, and I want to see if I can parse out which one it is.
Okay, then give me an insight check.
Okay. Insights, okay. Natural 20. And then plus my 2 is going to be... Woo! Wait until I roll my 1. That's going to be 25 with modifier when all said and done.
Smells like bullshit in here.
I haven't rolled a single nat 20. I'm not rolled 1. I'm kind of disappointed.
I think this is making up for all the nat 20s I haven't rolled in like the last 3 weeks.
Very happy to help
You're
with
using
that.
them all
so
now.
when you say it smells like bullshit, this thing is like clearly a creature.
Creature
taken
is
over.
sentient, and it is trying to use that approach that it hopes will get it out of its predicament.
Oh.
And it could technically not be lying even, because it said it was hungry, it said it wants to come out, it doesn't know where its mother is. Those could all be true things for a demon. It's just framing them in a nice, cute way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or cute, broken leg kind of way, you know? All
But
right.
I mean, the good news, I made it go to sleep. Or at least it looks asleep.
I'm going to relate that to the rest of the party, because we've got, another, 30 seconds of it being asleep. I'm gonna whisper over that it's you're right, gosh, what's your character, Favine? Favine, you're right to be skeptical. It is lying. It is a creature. That child is no more.
I am the sister of truth. Of course I knew it was lying. Why are you double checking my expertise?
Because I needed to know for me.
Well, at least you know better now. Alrighty, let's try and find a magical item in here. I'm gonna do a separate investigation for that, please.
Yes.
Investigation 4, 11, 15. I want a nat 20.
You looking around? There are lots and lots of things. Canada was known for creating magic items, and there are all kinds of things lying on her workbenches. Most of them don't seem to be finished. Canada's candle, there are candles that are glowing, but you know that it's very specific the way it looks, and you can't see it here. There are so many books and scrolls and things. There is a weapon that certainly looks magical, so no Canada's candle.
Just looking for a magical item in general.
Oh,
I know
okay.
Canada's
Yeah,
candle's
see
probably
several.
not going to be here. Okay,
Yeah,
I see
you
several.
you see several.
Okay.
Like magic swords, and there is a little lyre, like an instrument that seemed to be engraved and enchanted. There is this orb that looks like a small glowing moon lying on the table.
How pretty. Let's just take them all. Yeah,
So
let's
you're raiding the workshops.
Just put it all into the...
Dark Fire Cult can't have anything. I don't know what they want. I'm just going to take it all.
I would like to be more precise in my investigation now that we kind of figured out Canilla's handle's not here, and go and look for that painting.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because that's actually in our contract.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my spell's about to drop any second. We'll have to listen to Child again.
I want to look around to see if there's any evidence of someone having been through here recently.
Yeah, please do check. But first, Sienna, what did you roll? Sunny. A net 20? No. Karma is a bitch. All those 20s, now the ones come rolling.
I mean, it still counts as a 6, because I have a +5. I rolled a 1.
Yeah. You don't... you see so much that you are perfectly stunned by all the things you see, and you can't really decide which ones are important or not. And there are not many there are not many tracks to see, because although this workshop is supposedly over 200 years old, you cannot see dust on any of the items, and also not on the floor, besides the sand that has been there put on purpose to create certain rooms and stuff.
Just very overwhelming. There's a lot of shit in here.
Maria.
I got a 22 on my investigation.
Oh yeah. You see the figure is rousing, and behind that figure there's something rolled up lying behind the creature in the on the floor in the circle. And as you look closer, like in the hallway when the illusion broke for Sienna, you see the illusion break. That is not a small little child. That is a grown-ass woman lying in that magic circle. She's wearing very elaborate robes, and her hood is pulled over her face. And she clutches a jet black staff with a snake head and a glowing green crystal between the fangs of the snake. As she shakes her head slightly and like blinks. But she keeps lying, and you see the glitter of an eye in the hood as she seems to survey the room.
Yeah, you're right. This is no child. This is a woman. She has a snake staff, and there's something rolled up in that magic circle with her.
Can Favine look? Can Favine
Sure.
see?
Yeah, I give you advantage on your investigation.
22. I rolled a 4 and an 18.
Oh, very good. The illusion breaks. This is the mage on the ship. The one that escaped. Looking very annoyed that she's stuck in a trap that a woman 200 years dead created.
Wow. Looks like a fly got caught in a spider's web. And Favine bends down to peer at her, looking quite haughty. She turns her head to turn to the other sisters, and she's like, "This is the mage that escaped."
And I guess I can safely assume that that's the painting rolled up in there with her.
Where's your little assassin friend, mage?
As she notices that the illusion has been broken, she gets up and dusts herself off and then holds her staff and leans on it, looking quite relaxed. That took you very long, much longer than I would have expected, sister of truth.
Well, while you're trapped in there, we have all the time in the world, don't we?
Wait a second, I don't hear anything anymore. Can you say it again?
I said, hello? Can you hear me?
Tahina.
Hello?
Tahina?
Can the others say something? If it's on my end or...
Tahina.
They're saying stuff.
Oh no, I don't hear anything anymore.
Oh no.
And chat can hear you. But she can't hear us.
Oh no! Another fumble.
I don't hear anything. But from your laughing, I can tell that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, this stream was cursed. And then I slit the mage's throat and take the painting and everything's fine.
I'm restarting Discord.
Yay.
Be right back.
Break through the barrier. Sit there for it. Take the painting.
And I'm fine.
You know what I've always wanted to do is arm Booper with a dagger, and I've never done it.
I have a dagger if you need one.
You should get him those little finger knives.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah. And then he can crawl up and then just
You back?
Say something.
Hello?
Tahina?
Tahina.
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 Okay, so here's what we can do. If you talk, I'll type it into the chat box so that she can hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Type that.
More
Type that to
technical.
her. Tell her what you're gonna do.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
There was a weird beep though. Just before she lost everything, I heard a bloop bloop. Tahina, we can hear you. You don't need to type.
You're good.
Okay, test. Can you hear? Yeah, you can hear me. I can tell by your laughing face. Now I hear something as well.
Yay! Can you hear us all?
I do think so. Yeah, sorry for that. I have no clue what happened. I just restarted, and now I switched to the speakers and back to the headphones, and now it works. I have no clue.
So we won.
Yeah, we won.
won.
Yes, that's how this game works.
We won at D&D, everyone!
So just
it.
before you disconnected, she obviously said her snide remark, and Vivine replied, "Well, yes. Well, we have all the time in the world while you're trapped in there."
And that is the perfect note, I'd say, to end this. You have a house, cozy and nice, trapped in a magic circle. You found the picture that was missing. So the only thing still missing is the assassin. And as Dave Tulip would say, there are assassins afoot.
That is one of Dave's favourite things to say.
I have to say, I really love this world.
Yeah, it's so
addictive.
Thank you.
Love it. Yeah.
so addictive. This is a regular thing, isn't it, Tahina? This isn't just because it's Women in Gaming Month. We're actually going to continue it.
Yeah, I plan on doing 2 things. Most likely won't work for July, but I think in August at the latest I want to start to do at least one shot a month. And I'm either doing a Steranesti Sisters, which is all female cast and female characters, because Sisters, the agency, a women agency. But I'm also going to DM for the Steranesti Explorers. I wanted to broaden the circle of adventure a bit. The Steranesti Sisters are most likely going to be based in and around Ostend, their adventures, and there are the Isles of Sea Mages and the Frozen Wilds and underwater adventures to be had. For the other one, where I'm going to DM for a mixed cast, and it's more likely going to be like, who's available on that date, and they can create a character, and I take them on a adventure in my setting, in my world.
Yeah, no, this world is amazing. Like, I need a book.
Yeah. Seconded.
I'm glad you like it.
Well, I mean, if Tahina writes it, I could publish it.
Hey!
Put that out there.
I would brush up on my especially crappy German.
Oh! Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. So let's just say goodbye to the viewers and tell them where to find you. And I'm going to go the other way around in camera order as I see it on the Discord. So, Leonie, tell us where to find you. What are you doing?
Well, the most important place that you can find me is, of course, on the Fumbles and Fame Discord. Everyone is welcome, despite what you may have heard in unsolicited awful tweets. Everyone is welcome. We've got tons of games and we're tons of fun. And basically, we're not just a streaming channel. We're a place of where people can hang out and make friends and meet new people. Just kind of talk D&D, because I can't get enough D&D at all. Like, you just mentioned D&D to me and I just like, it just all comes out. Of course, if I'm a marketer by trade, so if it's a social media, I'm on it, and you can find me under @GlossandGadgets, whether it's Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Although I probably won't accept any friends requests on Facebook, because that's just like for family. And you'll just see like pictures of my nephew and niece, and it's very boring. I am playing in Scraticus's game on the 8th of July, early in the morning, like 6 a.m. UK time. So I'm looking forward to that. I am a player in Horde of the Dragon Queen, which is starting back up soon. I'm going to be a player in the Waterdeep campaign, which is in September. And I DM Curse of Strahd and Out of the Abyss. Curse of Strahd is the 14th of July. And I think Uta, Out of the Abyss. No?
14th Curse of Strahd, where you dungeon master yourself. Oh, did you not say Heart of the Dragon? Sorry.
Okay. And Out of the Abyss, I do believe, is the 4th of August. So yeah, you can find me here. And I might change my hair again. I'm quite liking the red, but I like to change it often. And that's it for me.
Perfect, thank you. So, Liz, where can we find you?
You can find me at BHexLC on Twitter. If you enjoyed listening to me play, you can also listen to me every Sunday as part of the Tales from the Dark Dragons Inn. They also have a Twitter, which is Tales from the Dark Dragons Inn. I'll drop that in the Twitch chat in a second. I also have a Patreon where you can get sketch bundles of mine. You can find a link to that on my Twitter. Hopefully by the end of the year, I will be dropping my currently in production comic Sons of Witches. So keep an eye out for that as well, which is all about witches and their adventures trying to find the Tome of Solomon. And that is everything from me.
Fantastic. Her art is amazing. You really should check her out. She did a giveaway art for me for my character Ella that I play in Leonie's Curse of Strahd. And it's so amazing. She's so cute.
I'm actually going to be commissioning Liz now that Vivine's lived a second session. So
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Yeah, where can we find you, Charlie?
Wow, where can't you find me?
Yeah.
Next week is probably the easiest place. I tweet everything that I'm doing. I tweet a lot of other games that I think people should check out. But next week on Tuesday, I start off the week with Wizards and Wardrobes with the lovely Tahina over on Scrassicus's channel. That's 7 p.m. UK, which is 2 p.m. EST, which is
3 p.m. UTC.
There we go, yeah. All the times. And then on Wednesday is Warhammer Wednesday over on Encounter Roleplay at 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. EST. On Thursday, my game got cancelled. On Friday, I am on Scrassicus's channel again. And then on Saturday, I'm also on Scrassicus's channel, being a DM for his great big 24-hour academy, which I really would appreciate if people showed up and supported, because the boys put in a lot of work, and there's a lot of really amazing DMs and a lot of amazing players going on that weekend. So, yes, please do support all of these wonderful people that I played with today. I've been so grateful to get invited to play in Tahina's world and to play with these lovely ladies, and I hope that we can do it again very soon. I also want to shout out Hermley, who did the work of Sienna and Booper that popped up during stream. He is currently doing some really cool adventurer cards, which are kind of like mini stat cards. You can send him artwork you already have and you'll stat it up to match your character, or you can hire him to do art as well. So just plug him a little bit because he's great.
I'm just trying to get that picture back up. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Fantastic. Thank you. It was an honor to have you with us. So, Marzi, tell us where to find you, what you do.
Sure. Let's see. Sunday night's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're coming back with the Owl of Lycia. It's going to be Sunday nights, and I'll let you know where to check that out. You can find out basically everything that I'm doing from my Twitter page, which is reckoned below my screen here. It's at FELLONMARCIE, and that's on Twitter. On Wednesdays, I play in a Scion game on Bag of Snails channel, in which I play a daughter of Hermes named Helena Xenakis, and she is the garbage trash princess roller derby queen. And her roller derby team is Valkyries. We call them the Killeries. They're great. They're fabulous. You can watch me hang out with daughter of Bastet and son of Hades as we become the villains in another person's story. It's really fun. And let's see here. Fridays, I've got a super secret project coming up. We're not ready to announce it yet, but I can hint that it's coming. Let's see here. What else am I doing right now? We're working up with the Phantom Roll booth, putting a quarter in and getting the gears cranking in there. We're about to start an Edge of the Empire game that's going to be on Thursday nights. Coming up soon, I think we're going to start next month. That's when our session 0 is anyway. And starting pretty much an hour after right now, we're cranking up the Phantom Roll booth for the first time, and I'll be DMing a one-shot, the first of many in a Points of Light series of one-shots. So you can hit us up on the Phantom Roll booth at Twitch.
Sounds fantastic. So I'm the only one left. You can find me at Tahina_Andale on Twitter. When I'm not playing on Fumbles and Fame, then I'm playing over on Scrat's channel. I'm part of his permanent cast for the new campaign. On Tuesday nights, I have the big pleasure and honor to play Forja Flamehair, friend of Dave Tulip. And on next Saturday, I will play the second part of the not one but two shot that one of our dungeon masters, Sam, is going to the here on Fumbles and Fame. And on Sunday is Tomb of Annihilation, where I play Runa Ricastortier, my Grave Domain cleric. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the setting and the world as well. So we say goodbye now to women in tabletop gaming, the hashtag, but we will keep our women still gaming, as we always have and always will. And I hope that you will tune in next time when we visit Ostend again. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.